Pretty shocking circumstance yesterday. A lot of weird people over here with empty baby carriages. Sorry, you talking to me? What?
I thought you were taking a picture of me.
I can't hear what you're saying.
I thought you were taking a picture of me.
What's happening?
I thought you were taking a picture of me.
What are you doing?
What am I doing?
Huh?
What am I doing? You filming me?
No, you called me over here. What's up?
You're filming me right now.
I'm filming me, man. What are you doing? I didn't mean to interrupt you with your kid. Oh, you don't have a kid. Have a nice day. I don't know what you're talking about. But we got a lot of weird people with empty baby carriages here. And I think people saw, I mean, that's crazy. That wasn't set up either. I was walking along and I saw that guy there. And it did strike me as odd that he had an empty baby carriage, but wasn't really filming him. And even if I was, what the hell does he care?
Definitely.
Now we did. But there's just a litany of sketchy people around. And I mean, look, yesterday, if you didn't see it, I really encourage people to get onto X. It's just so much interaction on there, and they've definitely changed something about it, because when it was Twitter, I never really could get past 20-something thousand, and they were jamming me up all over the place. I mean, people know I've got my issues. Big beef with Elon Musk, Twitter, X.com. Here we got more masked criminals breaking the law, riding a bike on the sidewalk. But yeah, that lawsuit, that was Goodman v. the City of New York. If you've just started watching, thank you for doing that. You can become a sponsor if you like this show. Go to odyssey.com/@crowdsource the truth. That's the most economical way to do it, for just $3 a month plus a 58-cent Odyssey fee. You can sponsor Crowdsource the Truth, keep me going here. Sponsor Odyssey as well. It's a really unique, decentralized, censorship-resistant platform. It's actually a much nicer day than I realized. It was supposed to rain. I hope it doesn't. Oh, geez, that guy's going really fast. It's New York City, man. That's a livery cab. See, we got a lot of people. Anyway, the point is, yesterday, guys got to go back to Sweden or whatever. The cops, I realized this was hard for people to accept. I'm still processing it myself. The cops, here's another car with no license plate on it, so anybody at all could be driving. Whoops, I think I just hit the sound somehow. Use sound? Where'd my sound go? Oh, I hate it when it does this. Sound, please. There it is. Okay. That almost ruined my day. With just no license plate whatsoever on that car. So we're seeing some weird things going on. If you missed it yesterday, get onto X, check it out. We'll go through some of it today. Basically, this all started when I was just walking past the Walcott Hotel, just on a regular day. I wasn't staking it out. I didn't know anything about that hotel. We just saw those military guys standing outside, asked one of them, hey, is the Army making this thing into a migrant hotel? And the guy, as I recall, he shook his head no. So I continued to question them, like, well then, okay, what are you doing here? And then the Marine said, we've been invited by the state. And then I said, what are you talking about? The state is filling up hotels with military? And they went inside and started acting weird. I followed them. The Army was filling up the lobby. Questions just kept popping out of questions. People saw that video. Well, forgive me. I made that video August 22nd, and then just didn't think about that particular encounter. A lot of weird things happened to me on the street, and I kind of just shrug them off. But somebody clipped that, and thank you to that somebody, and had the really kind decency to include my name so that people who wanted to know more about it could find me, and also so that the things that I'm talking about and the message that I'm trying to put out gets the benefit of that thing being seen. So thank you sincerely to the person who did that. But what happened was it started going viral on TikTok. Lots and lots of people saw it. And then it coincided with, I guess Laura broke this story first, where somebody had told her that the military was being loaded up into hotels in New York around, as I understood her story, that was specifically around the courthouse and in anticipation of Trump being sentenced, and going to Rikers Island. And then they said maybe there was going to be a cop walkout or sick out or whatever, and that there could be unrest anticipated. And so they wanted to have National Guard or whatever there. I don't want to go over this way. This guy's stopping traffic, so we'll draft off of him. Anyway, so Laura was saying that they were loading up the hotels with military in anticipation of craziness from Trump getting sentenced. I didn't know anything about that, but immediately remember Orin Levi starts saying, no, Jason's lying. This has nothing to do, Jason's lying, the hotel is a migrant hotel. But I never said it wasn't. I just walked by and asked the guy what the Army was doing there. So I was immediately, it was curious that Orin Levi would care at all about that, but he did, and I noticed that. And so for people who don't know who Orin Levi is, I'm not complaining about these people because I dislike them and it's like, oh, Jason's got beef with all these people. These are people who have done things over the years that have revealed facts and evidence, aspects of their identity. Orin Levi, Google Orin Levi CBD New York Post. There's this big story. This is important. I should have captured this story on video to show everybody, but I failed. I've seen it many times. If you just Google Orin Levi CBD New York Post, you will see a feature, big article about him and his brother doing something where they're mailing weed or getting weed mailed to them. It was a few years ago, before weed was legal, but then again, I think even mailing it is not legal. But whatever. There's some article about him and his brother doing something with weed and the cops. What the hell is that guy saying? And it just seems like a big deal to make out of a weed arrest and two dummies. And I've spoken a lot about steganographic messaging. I don't know that I've necessarily analyzed that Orin Levi article for that. Let's just do it for a second. No, I don't want to get off on a tangent. We'll do that another time. Point is, Orin Levi, he approached me on the street years ago. He said his name was John, so that was a lie. His name is not John. He doesn't go by John. He goes by Orin, and that's his name. He goes by Viral News NYC on X, and he's always got the news from the cops. So I mean, he's not some like expert journalist who is embedded with the cops, who's, this is what he lives and breathes and this is what he does. What the fuck is going on over here? Good thing we got security on that. Crazy naked women on the street. But anyway, Orin Levi, he always seems to be hanging out with the cops, having all the news from the cops, and also that the cops want you to know from the cops' point of view. And he fancies himself some, hard-boiled journalist or something, crime journalist going around with the cops. The truth is he works for the cops, spreading their message. I've seen him wearing the NYPD undercover color of the day, and so now we see him right away. He has some media role with the cops, and I didn't do anything. I just walked by that hotel, spoke to the Army. Laura said something about the Army doing something with the Trump sentencing. And remember, he was down there in Collect Pond Park messing with me during the Trump, when he was convicted or whatever. The ruling.
And then I'm like,
right? Levi was down there, remember? And the cops were there, and that's when I was like, oh, you're an undercover cop, you're an undercover cop. And then they cut the live stream. I don't think Orin Levi has the ability to cut a live stream and immediately delete an entire YouTube channel, which is what happened. But I think the cops can do that. I think the cops can do that in a hurry, which they did right away. Before that live streaming ended, that completely decimated Crowdsource The Truth 10, which had no strikes before that, which is why I always tell people, even if for free, if you go on to Odyssey.com, even if you don't sponsor the show for only $3 a month plus a 58-cent Odyssey fee, it's free to subscribe to Odyssey, and you can still access the largest library of Crowdsource The Truth legacy content anywhere on the internet. Now, this is where my old office was. That is 21st Century 3D's old office building, but it's kind of a terrible neighborhood and always has been, definitely not getting any better. So let's just start heading maybe a little bit this way. But I mean, this is, as I said yesterday, we learned that the NYPD would rather razz me and act like a bunch of 14-year-old jackasses making a crank call than they would investigate highly suspicious activity. Look, see, I don't know exactly what was going on over there. Obviously, I can't say. People jump to the conclusion that they're trafficking children there. It sure looks like it. I don't know. I can't prove that in court, so I don't want to outright say that's what's happening. There certainly is a lot of suspicious activity there. To me, none of those 3 adult men with that tiny little 1 or 2-year-old baby, none of them looked like the father to me. None of them were interacting with the baby in a way that seemed very fatherly. And I mean, I don't understand what was even going on. He's waiting there like he's gonna, drop off an Amazon package. We got a lot of sketchy people all over the city. So I'm saying there seems to be a network of these Tren de Aragua operatives, and I don't know, if people saw, I used it in the thumbnail because they were like literally surveilling me. This guy who was down there by the, looked like about a 2018 or 19 Ford Escape, but it looked very new, didn't it? Oh, I meant to did I bring this image? I think I forgot it. Yeah, I forgot it. I had a close-up of the paper license plate on the rear of that Ford Escape. It looked like a very nicely, like if you took a well cared for 2018 or 19 Ford Escape to the dealership to trade it in, and then they give it its whatever 20-point inspection thing and re-wax it and make it look new. It looked like that. The thing looked like it just came from the dealership, and it had paper dealer temporary license tag on it. It didn't have a regular license plate, and that temporary tag was from Florida. The thing that's interesting is that piece of paper, I got to put this on X. So that's what I mean. I can't always remember to have everything with me, and little bits of evidence like that are easier to put on X and easier to re-find on X, but I just don't understand. It looks like the guy actually went like from the car dealership to here. There wasn't a single piece of dirt on that paper. Like I imagine if you would even drive around for a day or two, that thing would start to collect dust and dirt. I mean, just look at all the filth kicking up just all over Manhattan, the water. There wasn't anything at all on that piece of paper, on the license plate on the car. And somebody contacted me yesterday and said, hey, I own some kind of whatever Hyundai or some kind of dealership in Florida, and I can run that thing and find out whatever. And they said, oh, it's a temporary tag. It was just issued. I don't know who owns it, and it's only good for 30 days. Well, gee, that's interesting, isn't it? Maybe somebody from Venezuela knows that and also works at some car dealership. And set it up. I didn't really get it, but there goes a C8. It's actually old news now. They announced the ZR1, but whatever. I'm just saying, is that the type of thing where if the cops run that tag, they will get some like not definitive, this is illegal or not? Did somebody figure out a loophole to put paper license plates on a car? My point is, even if that's a legitimate paper license plate, and this guy had his precious 2018 Ford Escape flatbedded, transported in a sealed truck to the front of the sweet mother effing Walcott Hotel to allegedly do a crime, I suppose it's possible that paper license plate could be totally clean. It just struck me as suspicious, and it was super weird that when I called the cops and said, hey, where is Detective Johnson, who told me to meet him here at 10:30 in the morning yesterday, and they made a big joke out of the fact that there is nobody named Detective Johnson. Now, I'll remind everybody, it's not New Jersey, stupid. Slow the fuck down, asshole. See these people trying to kill me, it distracts from the train of thought. Terrible. Yeah, I mean, almost getting run over, it distracts your attention. And then it's hard to get back to what I was thinking about. There's a rooftop bar up there. But I mean, it's basically the hotel, So, yeah, we've got the tag on the car, the paper tag, that's suspicious. I call the cops, right, Detective Johnson. So when you call a place and somebody answers the phone and says Detective Johnson, would it be ridiculous for the guy's name to be like, I don't know, Tom Johnson, Charles Johnson, Robert Johnson, anybody Johnson other than Hugh would be a regular name. It's not like Johnson is some inherently crazy name to tell somebody. The guy told me he was Detective Johnson. The following day, another detective said, Hugh Johnson. So obviously he's making a joke, and you know, people who think that I didn't get it in the second that the detective was saying it to me on the phone there, because it's so far removed from your mind, this possibility that the entire detective squad of the 14th Precinct of the New York City Police Department would be essentially playing a practical joke on you. I mean, the demonstration of unprofessional, I mean, I would call it negligence. We don't know what's going on with that little girl, but in my view, and I think a lot of other people's, it was not a strange thing to alert the police to, particularly given what's happened since then, where James O'Keefe has released this story where we've heard now that the Army is saying that Tren de Aragua is gaining power in New York and elsewhere, and they're taking over apartment complexes. So, I mean, is something happening? The police are like deliberately embedding these criminal gangs everywhere? And did they set me up to go there? I mean, they were surveilling me. They took video of me. It's very likely the Tren de Aragua people are like on the lookout to harm me. I think yesterday New York City became a lot more dangerous for me. So let's just recap, because a lot of people aren't on X. Where do I begin here? So, okay. First of all, this isn't my first encounter with this prospect of the NYPD doing something with a Venezuelan gang that seems surprising. Do people remember, this was May, yeah, this was May 7th, I remember from just getting the video this morning, but there was this like kind of riot happening over here down at FIT. Let's take a look. I noticed this guy, just as he was super covering his face, he's not really participating, he's texting somebody on the phone, and then he saw me recording him. Don't touch me, man. He strikes the camera and tell him not to touch me. So I don't know, maybe that's somebody who's just, you know, doing nothing. But then this butterball seems to be communicating with this weird lady. There's a lot of people with cameras there surveilling me. This fat kid, listen to what he said. I'm not wearing a mask. What are you doing? You fat fuck. You see me every day on the internet. I'm not hiding, motherfucker. What's your name? My name is Fuck You, asshole. Take your mask off.
You're a bright guy.
I'm what?
You're a bright man. You're smart. You're really intelligent. Okay. You're really a smart guy. Dude, fuck off. You probably have a lot of money too because you're so smart.
Did you notice what he was doing there? He was like, oh, you're a smart guy. You probably have a lot of money. He went into some training. He was recounting, recalling some mechanism, right? Some method. He's trying to do something. It seems to me like this guy's had some sort of, psychological warfare training, street theater, whatever you want to call it. But he is trained up on this process of going to these public protests. And he wants to know my name. He wants video, he wants my name. He wants to know who's here, who's against our movement. But they've got that guy who does not want to be photographed at all. He gets photographed and then other people come over to photograph me. Who's photographing that guy is what they're interested in. So what's interesting is I discovered later this article from the New York Post. Now this thing, it was published the day before that incident. Yeah, this thing is published May 6th. Okay? That little encounter on the street with the butterball and all those people, that was May 7th. But they're saying that this is Victor Parra, a Venezuelan gang member who is part of the motorcycle gangs, moped thefts. He was arrested from a helmet violation and they had him at Rikers Island. And now we got a guy who to me looks exactly like that dude, wearing a keffiyeh, standing there. And what was interesting is people can go back, that full video of what was going on with this dude over at FIT, that wasn't a live stream. I was just walking home from somewhere and recorded that on my regular phone. So I think that might have only gone out on X. I'll re-X that, retweet that, repost that later for people who haven't seen it. But I think if you just search under my name for FIT on X, you'll find it. Anyway, the point is, that struck me as extremely weird. That guy, he just looked a little too similar. So then a day or two later, I was on another live stream walking around and I saw this police lieutenant. I stopped to speak to him and show him the evidence. Take a look at this. Excuse me, Lieutenant. I was up at FIT the other day and I was accosted by a guy who had a mask on. And I captured a frame of his face with the mask down and he looks remarkably like a guy. I did not make a report, but you're standing right here and I wanted to show it to you before I carry on with it.
We'll get a report done for you if you'd like for assault.
The police have said that to me before. Yes, he did, but I want to show you this guy because he looks remarkably like an individual. So here's the guy.
Okay.
And then the New York Post had a story that that guy was a Venezuelan gang member who was arrested and put into Rikers Island. It looks almost identical, doesn't he?
It's very similar, yeah.
What do I do about this, Lieutenant Cabrera?
If you want to make a report, we can make a report for you.
I'd like to do it right here.
Yeah. But I'll get you a unit from the 6th Precinct to come over here. Just stand by right here. Let me get your ID and your...
No, I'm not going to do that.
No?
No, look into this guy.
No, but we need your
The
ID
last
to
time
get
I
the
gave the
report.
police my ID, I got a ticket. I don't trust the NYPD. This guy, New York Post.
But I want you to understand that we can't do a report unless we know who you are.
I'm giving you facts. It's in the public domain. New York Post.
We'll look into it. I'll look into that.
Yeah, you won't. Fucking assholes. I'm not giving the cops my ID for anything. So there we go, more of the same from the cops. I mean, I think given what we saw yesterday, that happened back in May. But you see what I'm saying? The second, I don't know what's going through that cop's head. Maybe he's not read into the program and he has no idea what's going on and just thinks it's strange that the suspect looks remarkably similar to a guy that I saw hiding his identity and getting very mad that I photographed him the next day, who a bunch of other people swarmed around and wanted to photograph me and know my name. It seems like the cops are way more concerned with me and what I'm doing than with Venezuelan gang members and people selling dirty fruit. Is that woman helping the economy? paying taxes? Why do I have to pay taxes if she doesn't? Why did my money go to help buy that fruit for her so that we can have this? Anyway, I don't know, it doesn't make sense to me. You'd think the police would say, okay, no, you don't have to give us your ID. Where is this? By the way, the guy's an idiot, because if he had just taken my information, if they were at all interested in actually investigating anything and doing actual police work with the intention of, you know, preventing crime, he could have just looked all that up and said, hey, he's right, let's go find this guy, or let's figure out what the hell's going on. Because to me, it seems like a very Felix Sater-esque scenario where they get this guy and they say, hey, we have a Venezuelan gang problem. I call this the Daffy Duck Mouse solution, where, you know, Porky Pig rents a hotel room and there's a mouse, so he calls down and Daffy Duck sends up a cat. Then he's got a problem with the cat, Daffy Duck sends him a dog. Then he's got a problem with the dog, they send him a lion, then they send an elephant, and then ultimately he's back with the mouse, I think. But that's just it, is that they catch a Venezuelan gang member and say, okay, now we're gonna have you work for the cops where you can do crimes like almost poke Jason's eyes out with a stick because you're a gang member with incredibly poor judgment, natural criminal instincts, and now you're under the protection of the NYPD. And I mean, listen, if you watch that whole video, yeah, you know, this lady's working hard, but so are a lot of people. And just because you don't see them dragging fruit around, why don't you have sympathy on them? What about the old lady whose dollar doesn't go as far because her husband died and she can't work anymore, and now inflation, she's going broke, so that lady can drag fruit around? It's just not a solution. My God. I'm sorry we didn't see the face of that traffic cop. What a... Well, but so anyway, I don't know, it seems like the police are protecting Venezuelan gang members and pranking me. It's very odd. We missed those guys, but that was a Middle Eastern crew. So, I mean, do we have some sleeper cells being kind of infiltrated? I mean, it's not even a question, don't we, is the question. Those guys have new vehicles with questionable registration. Lots of little kids that we don't even know if they're theirs. The cops don't care. So the cops obviously knew, is what I'm getting at, because here, let's listen to this phone call. You see, it wasn't, people don't have the full context. When you call the police and somebody says, hey, Detective Johnson, do you immediately say, oh, you're putting me on, Hugh Johnson? No, you assume the guy's name is whatever Johnson. I mean, do people go to Ron Johnson's Senate office and ask him if he's putting on a prank? Anyway, so here is the call where I spoke to the guy. Now remember, this all started when I know you're supposed to call 911. These idiot cops always tell me, well, we have our official procedures. It's like, yes, I know, you assholes. I've already attempted to use those official procedures and they failed. So now we're going to my official procedures. And so let's just go back a moment, because remember, I first identified that it seemed like there was a non-profit organization that was just doing financial crimes in the hotel. That was my first presumption, that they didn't want to talk about what was going on, because it just looked like that neighborhood association of intercultural affairs. It just looked like that thing was stealing millions of dollars, which, I mean, not just, but obviously that's a bad crime, and it would motivate them to not want to explain to me what they're doing there. So I went to the police to report that, because I know you can't report it over the phone. And so when I went in there, this is what happened. Is there an officer who can join me on a walk over to 4 West 31st Street? I want to report an ongoing, very serious crime at the Walcott Hotel.
Sir, can you step outside?
Wait, why are you grabbing me? You got to take your hands off of me. You can tell me to step outside without touching me. It's legal for me to record the police. You know that, right? You got to get your hands off of me, officer. Don't touch me. By what authority did you just touch me? What is your name? No. There was just a case in district court that I'm allowed to record. You just physically handled me without any motivation. I'm trying to report a crime. I'm outside.
Stay outside.
I am outside. Will you not take the report?
What happened? You want to report? What happened?
Come on out here and come with me. You're intimidating me. You just physically assaulted me, officer.
It's all being recorded. What happened?
Why am I physically assaulted for recording? Tell me.
Tell me, what happened?
There is an ongoing crime at the Walcott Hotel. There is a nonprofit agency called the Neighborhood Association of Intercultural Affairs that is run by a guy named Richard Izquierdo Arroyo, who is a convicted embezzler. He's paid over $650,000 a year. You guys are making 3 out of 4 arrests in Times Square, illegal migrants. That hotel is using, yeah, you're rolling your eyes, you're assaulting me. You know what? I think I'm just going to sue you for assault, McLaurin. You're a fucking incompetent piece of shit. This is why the city is falling apart, because motherfuckers like you are assaulting people like me instead of upholding the law. You should resign. You suck, buddy. Say what? Yeah, go fuck yourself, buddy. The city is failing because of losers like you. Do you know that? Do you know that? Why did you just assault me?
Nobody assaulted you.
You grabbed me and pushed me out the door and put me in immediate fear of physical harm. You had no reason to. What are you fucking laughing at, you retard?
Have a great day, all right?
I'm gonna fucking sue you.
That's fine.
How many times have you been sued, stupid?
Fine.
What are you,
Have
25?
a great day, all right?
How many times have you been sued?
Have a great day.
How many times have you
We're
been
done
sued?
here.
We're not done. We're just getting started, you fuck. Asshole. So this is what we knew the cops would do. And this is why I record when I go in there. It's my right. And they want to violate it. That they do. The cops are the most unprofessional jerks. It's terrible. I mean, what that guy just did was an unnecessary, well, he did it yesterday, but it was an unnecessary escalation, excessive use of force. Whoa, this guy's going down underground. What the hell is he doing? He's unscrewing that thing, going down into the, wow, what did these girls think about the assassination attempt? Yeah, see, everybody wants to get involved with them. The point of the matter is that cop, he went nuts and he threw me out of the place. So obviously I told him I was going to sue him. Then as I left and walked away, I contemplated just the incredible hassle that is in terms of the cost, the time, the work. And I said, I'm not going to do it. But that was before this whole nonsense with the Hugh Johnson. So right, so that happened, and then I went home and I called the precinct to be like, you know, WTF, I'm trying to follow the rules and you guys are just ejecting me. So here's the call. People can listen to this.
Midtown South Detective Squad, how can I help you?
Hi, Detective. My name is Jason Goodman. I was just over at the precinct maybe like a half an hour or an hour ago, and I was trying to file a report. I was assaulted by Officer Justin McLaurin. I see he's only been on the force for like 2 years. He's already got one complaint. I don't want to get into that. I'll deal with him separately. But I just wanted to bring to your attention this issue that's happening at the Walcott Hotel. Are you familiar with that?
What about it?
So that hotel has been converted into some sort of a migrant shelter. And I just happened to be walking by there the other day and noticed there were 2 camouflaged military gentlemen. And I just asked them, is the Army turning this thing into a migrant hotel? And one of them said no. And I said, well, what are you doing here? And they just clammed up and walked inside. So I followed them inside and I said, isn't this a public hotel? What is the Army doing here? The entire lobby was filled with Army. And I just said, what the hell is going on here? And they said, get out, and threw me out. So I started looking into what was going on there. I called the manager and said, what's happening with the Army? He said, there's no Army here. So I went back a few days later, and there was the Army again. And they're assisting these migrants. Now, I saw a report in the paper just yesterday or 2 days ago that said the NYPD, 3 out of 4 arrests being made in Times Square are migrants doing crimes. And this hotel is housing migrants. So the aspect of it that I believe is criminal is that the hotel itself is being paid by a nonprofit called the Neighborhood, forgive me, it's a long name, I have it written down right here. It's the Neighborhood Association for Intercultural, it's the Neighborhood Association for Intercultural Affairs. And that's a nonprofit. The chief operating officer of that thing is a guy by the name of Richard Izquierdo Arroyo. And Arroyo, in I think around 2010, pled guilty to embezzling $115,000 from another nonprofit, and he should not be legally allowed to become an executive at a nonprofit, but he's the chief operating officer of this thing, and he's paid $656,000 a year, which is also incredibly excessive for a nonprofit. The truly insane part about this is that the woman who is the director of Mayor Adams' social services program, this woman's name is Molly Park. They gave $79 million to this nonprofit that's paying this hotel, that's paying this criminal $650,000, that's housing these migrants. Many of them are probably arrestees. So we've got our tax money paying the military. They won't tell me what's going on. Now, if everything here was on the up and up, because the other thing I allege is that the presence of the military here violates the Posse Comitatus Act. And, you know, people will say, oh, no, it's the National Guard and the governor called them in. That's fine. But the Posse Comitatus Act is an extremely complicated law, and the governor can't just snap her fingers and say, we have an emergency, I'm calling the National Guard. We have criminals running a criminal operation in this hotel, profiting tremendously. I just found out that the FBI is apparently investigating Mayor Adams and certain people. Detective, this thing reeks of multi-million, like dozens of millions of dollars worth of kickbacks. And I just went over to the precinct to try to report this and hopefully get an officer to just come over there with me, because I've been trying to call the manager. They won't put me on the phone with them. I go in there, I walk in the lobby. It's a hotel as far as I know. The public can walk in there. They kick me out. So I'm just trying to answer a legitimate question. I'm not hassling anybody or trying to harass people at the hotel or do some kind of jackass something or other. This is a serious question. The city is falling apart due to crime. I've been paying taxes in this city for 34 years. I don't want to pay people to rob me and beat me up. And this guy, Justin McLaurin, I don't know what the hell his problem is, but frankly, Detective, he's putting fellow officers at risk, because the reason he decided to physically grab me and remove me is because I entered the precinct with a cell phone recording. Now, he could have said to me, you have to leave, and I would have complied with the police order, but he didn't do that. He just grabbed me and shoved me out the door. Now, first of all, there was a case in district court, I think in 23, where it was determined that McLaurin needs retraining because that's wrong. It's legal for me to record the police, and this case determined even inside the precinct house. Irrespective of that, if he said you need to leave with that and I didn't comply, that would be one thing, but that's not what happened. And I have that on video. So I also want to make sure he preserves his body cam and anything that's happening in the lobby as far as recording, because this is an extremely serious.
Let me transfer it over to supervisor. They can handle that one for you, all right? Hang
But
on.
Detective, will you act on what I'm telling you about the fucking hotel?
South Desk Officer Samuel.
Hi, I was just giving a report to a detective. Do you have the ability to know who that was? Because he redirected me to you while I wasn't ready for that to happen.
What was he giving you?
I was giving him a report. And I mentioned to him that I was just at the precinct moments ago, maybe half an hour or an hour ago, and I tried to make this report, and Officer Justin McLaurin physically assaulted me. So
Physically assaulted you? What did he do to you?
he grabbed me and pushed me out of the building. And he physically assaulted me. So what I'd like you to do is definitely preserve his body camera from the last, let's say, 2 hours. And if there's any surveillance recording in the lobby, I'd like to preserve that. I definitely want to file a complaint against Justin McLaurin, but I'd like to be reconnected to the detective who I was just talking to about this report that nobody there at the 14th Precinct seems to want to take.
Okay, hold on. Hello?
Hi.
Okay, so you could make a complaint through the CCRB.
Okay. And how do I go about getting the body camera footage and all of that?
They'll do the investigation. You want the number for that?
How do I get the body camera footage? CCRB doesn't give me that.
They're gonna investigate it.
I understand, but that's not what I'm asking about. How do I obtain the body camera footage from the officer's body camera?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Okay, well, you could have told me that right away. But what do we want to do about connecting me back with the detective and acting on the crime that I'm trying to report? You guys seem very resistant to doing anything about crime. You're the police, right?
Hold on.
Yeah. She went on hold for like 7 minutes and I called back. No, sorry, 20 minutes and I called back.
How can I help you?
Detective, I don't know if it was you I was speaking to earlier. I'm the guy who was talking about the Walcott Hotel. Was that you?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
I missed your name. I'm sorry.
It's Detective Johnson.
Okay. So can we do something about what's going on there at the Walcott Hotel or no?
We don't investigate complaints unless they're made in person.
Yeah, but I went there and Justin McLaurin assaulted me, and when I mentioned that, you got directly off the phone without giving me your number to call you back or anything like that. You connected me to the supervisor and she put me on hold for 25 minutes. So it strikes me that you guys aren't interested in actually like enforcing the law or investigating crimes. You just want to assault me and put me on hold. Am I wrong?
Nope. We investigate complaints when they're made. We don't take reports over the phone.
Okay, but when I went there to make the report, your officer assaulted me. Are you concerned by that at all?
That's not my officer. I can't control what somebody else does when I'm not
NYPD
there.
officer assaulted me. Does that concern you at all, Detective?
Yeah, it's very concerning.
Okay.
But I wasn't there. I'm
Okay,
not sure what
so
happened.
can you and I make an appointment to go over to the hotel where I'll give you a report out in front of the hotel?
Yep.
When
Sounds
can we do that?
good. By all means, you let me know when's a good time for you.
Well, I could do that. I could be there in maybe 30 minutes.
No, that's not good for me.
So tell me when you'd like to meet there. What time? Right in front of the Walcott Hotel. That sounds good. Okay, so that was loud. Sorry, I didn't mean to subject everybody to that beeping. But you heard, I mean, the guy, there was interesting things. It's useful to listen to it a second time. Like, notice when I first called him, you know, Detective Johnson, when I first called him and I mentioned the Walcott Hotel, wasn't that a really long pause before he says, "What about it?" It really seems like he knows something about it. And also, see, at first, his initial instinct was just get off the phone with this guy and I'll never have to speak to him again. So his mind is racing to find a seemingly legitimate opportunity to do that, where he could sit in a court and say, "Oh, I thought the guy wanted to make a complaint about McLaurin, so I connected him to the supervisor." So you see, he got me off the phone right away. And I just happened to call back and get him again. And it's only after I had told him everything that I knew in great depth about the financial structure of what was going on at that corrupt-seeming hotel, then he had a lot of time to think about the fact that he didn't want to tell me his name. He had already hung up on me, and now I called back. I'm pressing the threat to whatever it is that he's trying to protect. And so now he comes up with, what do you think about the assassination attempt on Trump?
It was stupid, and
Is it Joe Biden trying to kill him?
somebody's trying to kill him.
But you think it's that 20-year-old kid on the roof, or it's something bigger?
No, it's somebody bigger. It's like the Kennedys thing, you know. It's somebody behind him because.
See, you guys know everything, right? Because everybody comes out of the car, you kind of see everything, right?
Yeah.
Take it easy, fellas. We need Trump, right? Or this whole thing's going to hell.
We need him.
Are you guys getting a lot of crime around here? People on bikes on the sidewalk?
Quiet over here.
Over here.
Over
They
here.
know better over here.
But you go like Midtown,
It's bad. Be safe, gentlemen. Thank you. So see, those guys know. They have their ear to the street, so to speak. But anyway, obviously, you know, he had some time to think about that. And then he gets off the phone with me and says, okay, 10:30 in the morning tomorrow. Whoa, that guy's window looks like it's been shot. And he's like a money delivery guy. Point is, that was pretty scheming if you think about it. Or it seemed to be. Oh, is Trump here? Am I close to Trump Tower? I am. This might be Trump. Yeah. I guess Trump is going somewhere, or somebody is. No, that's not Trump Tower. It's down, this 53rd. Trump Tower is 2 blocks up. So why is this closed?
3 more blocks down, take 11.
I guess there's some parade happening. Anyway, so the guy gets off the phone with me. Now they've got, you know, all day to make whatever they need to have happen down there at the hotel happen. I don't know, maybe they didn't plan it. Maybe they know what's going on. It seems like they know, because then when I call back the next day, it's not just one officer that doesn't want to talk about the hotel. Not just one detective. That guy, you know, people saw the video. Oh, you know what? Did I forget to put that on here? I mean, that's the one that's going super viral that everybody has seen. I forgot to put it on, I think. But that's the one where the guy is standing outside the hotel with the baby, and I'm asking him if it's his baby, and then I call the cops and they say, oh yeah, we're coming right over. Woo, woo, woo. They make siren noises with his mouth, which a lot of people found shocking. I certainly did. I mean, see, the danger now is Tren de Aragua is going to have people who speak English and can watch videos or watch the Spanish translation and understand that the police are mocking. It's not about me, it's the citizens of New York who are trying to, like, you know, conduct legitimate business and not break the law and just like be in society. And these guys realize, well, why the hell do we need to do that? We could just steal from these suckers and the cops will shine them off on the phone while they protect us. And I mean, it's right. How is that not a protection racket for a hotel that looks like they're trafficking kids out of there? I saw a lot of young women coming out of there with baby strollers. We saw a woman approaching that hotel with an empty baby stroller. That guy, whereas most people would either, you know, walk away or realize, oh, here's somebody taking a selfie or something. The truth of the matter is I couldn't even see him in there because the sun was coming at me. But, you know, he obviously had some problem beyond just, oh, let me move out of this guy's camera shot. Now, if he did that and I followed him, that might be something a person would mention, but I found it suspicious that he would say that. Why do we have all these people walking around with empty baby carriages? Are they expecting to go to a hotel and fill it with a baby?
But I also need the shirt.
I don't know, but it seems worth investigating. So then the other thing that happened is James O'Keefe had a story now, which is interesting because it seems to, I guess, build on what Laura was saying. She said some source in the Army or the military or something. Now O'Keefe has this unclassified, whatever he said it was, in, you know, I don't know, not, I forget the term that he used, but I don't know, not unclassified, unrestricted something. But I imagine Laura and James O'Keefe have a lot of the same sources. Laura used to work for him, and they both are in the, you know, million follower level. I only mention that because, you know, when you have that many people looking at what you're saying, it just really activates this crowdsource process like crazy, because so many people know and understand what you're talking about. And if anybody out there has any interest in the subject and any knowledge that can help you, it can be conveyed to you. So it was just interesting to see this report from James O'Keefe. So first you had Laura, then I randomly spot that. At the hotel. This is no way to direct traffic, and this is not something that this guy should do. Mr. Diplomat. Don't be honking, you assholes. Great job directing traffic, stupid. Get me run over. That guy is like an extra from a Lord of the Rings movie. Or a werewolf movie. So anyway, yeah. That sequence of events. And now James O'Keefe, he put out a tweet that actually, or some video on X that actually included a little segment of me, spotting the army over there. So that was pretty interesting. A lot of people are seeing this. And also, how could I not mention, they've now delayed the Trump sentencing until after the election. I'm not sure why. Maybe Mershon knew he was going to lose, and I don't know why, but they did. So now this whole issue of is the army going to do whatever, that goes away. I don't think they're going to take the army away. We still have Tren de Aragua in that hotel. They still don't want to explain what the army is doing there. And by the way, if the army is telling you, hey, Tren de Aragua is becoming a big problem, and then you also see the army acting weird and protecting them at a hotel when I'm trying to get them out of there and get it dealt with. What the hell is that about? That seems incongruent at best. No? It does to me. So anyway, that's really all I have to say about this today. I do think New York is quite a bit more dangerous for me now than it was. I think these Tren de Aragua guys, who knows what they might do? I think it might be that the cops, just like they used, George's stupid brother, they have these various stooges who are essentially expendable. Not essentially, they're definitely expendable. And these are cutouts because if, they want them to do crimes, if they get caught doing it, they can just say, oh, well, we don't know that guy. That's a criminal. Broke out and got into a Palestinian protest. We didn't know. Didn't tell him to go there. Ha ha ha. That's what they would say. Anyway, thanks for watching, everybody. Please become a sponsor if you aren't already on odyssey.com/@crowdsource the truth. You can subscribe to Odyssey for free and enjoy the largest library of Crowdsource the Truth legacy content, even for free. And you can also sponsor the show for just $3 a month and a low 58-cent Odyssey fee. You're going to be supporting decentralized, censorship-resistant small tech, not big tech, independent tech, independent journalism, not influenced. See, even haven't really spoken about that whole scandal with Tenet Media. But I was talking with Lee about that a bit. Maybe we'll do a show about that. But that's the thing. Even if it's not a major corporation, some company comes along and becomes your sponsor for 400 grand. I guess for some people that money is so seductive. They get involved in things that, look at what happened now. They're maybe, I don't know, Tim Pool seems to think he's like a victim and helping the FBI. I don't know about that. I think he's either going to get jammed up by them or is already working for them. Something. Anyway, the point of the matter is, this is why I prefer this method. Micro sponsorship, lots and lots of people, very, very small amounts of money, $3, $5, whatever you choose as a micro sponsor. But thank you to everyone who sponsors the show. You can also sponsor on subscribestar.com and patreon.com/crowdsource the truth. Have a lovely Saturday, everybody. Watch out for Tren de Aragua and the cops.